Hey, that reminds me, we're talking about guns and stuff. My dad called me today. I didn't get the call. It just went straight to voicemail. You gotta hear how weird this voice message is, man. It is the weirdest voice message ever.
Just had a big turkey sneak up behind me about 25 yards out. Big old gobbler. And it's really pushy back there. He walked off like, get a shot. Oh, boy. But at least I saw a nice gobbler. We'll catch you. Bye.
I heard that and I'm just like, how would I even respond to that?
Welcome back, everyone, to the Western Wisconsin Whiskey Emporium. I'm Dan.
And I'm Eddie.
And we're the Deathless Dogs. Today, we're going to be drinking a couple bottles that we have been in the hunt for, and we're lucky enough to find, because they do not cross into Wisconsin for distribution.
Nope.
We'll be drinking Smoke Wagon, their regular straight bourbon, as well as the small batch straight bourbon. Unfortunately, we have not been able to find the uncut, unfiltered before you start hitting the comments. Like, that's the one. We know that's the one. Couldn't find it, but we were still very excited to find these two. We bought these bottles separately from each other. Eddie picked up this one, and I got this one. Both of them in Illinois, on opposite ends of Illinois, because mine was in the Chicago area and yours was on the other side of the state.
The distillery Smoke Wagon is from Nevada, and they don't distribute in Wisconsin. I think they're very limited, actually, in their distribution, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know how limited it is. Hopefully, we'll be seeing them in Wisconsin in the relatively near future, but as of right now, they're not here. What they're doing is taking MGP bourbon, taking it out to the Nevada desert to age it, and then they are blending it and putting it together and putting it out in, by all accounts that I've heard, great expressions of bourbon.
I really like their theme that they have going on, that old-timey Western look to the bottles as well as just the design in general. I think just aesthetically it stands out. We kind of talked about this before starting tonight, that a brown bourbon bottle is so rare these days, and there's like etchings on it. You can see like flowers and plants and the medallion and everything. It's so cool. It just stands out.
Your straight bourbon, I mean, that's going to be their like entry-level bottle. And then this one is the next level up, the small batch straight bourbon, followed by uncut, unfiltered, which is going to be your full proof. And then they do have limited releases on top of that.
Are we going double bottle popping?
Well, that would depend on if I can get this. Oh, tear strip. There we go. That struggle was on me.
Double bottle popping! So I suppose we want to start up with just the entry level.
Straight bourbon comes in at 92.5 proof. Small batch bumps it up to 100 proof. There's some stuff going on here. It smells like sour apples to me.
Do you like the smell?
Yeah.
It's a different smell. I'm going to be honest with you.
Like a sour apple candy.
I'm picking up like caramel notes, but there's like a sourness somewhere that's coming through on this one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sour apple, like caramel apple almost. Caramel apple sucker. There is some kind of floral.
Yeah, there is something
thing.
Different in there. And it's hard to put my nose on it exactly.
It like kind of feels like spicy in my nose or something.
Now that you mention it, I think the caramel apple kind of powers through that. Did you want to try the nose on the other one as well now? Similar smell, but this one actually, when I kind of exhaled into the glass and took the updraft back into the nose, there was a tingle there.
Yeah, a similar nose. I'd say more caramel on this one, though.
I'm getting like a lavender thing at the end, though.
Yeah, see, I think that's what I was catching here. That floral part.
There's like lavender, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say almost lilac or something
that would
like
play
that.
As well.
Purple,
like
some kind of purple flower.
This one's a little bit stronger, and it kind of reminded me of lavender.
I think there's a lot to unpack in the nose, and I think maybe taking a sip of it will help.
We'll go with the straight bourbon whiskey to kick things off. All right, let's clink them and drink them. That is unique.
That floral element is really coming through.
There's something spicy and herbal that comes through at the end.
Good amount of that rye spice. Little cinnamony, little floral.
There is something so strange and different on that finish. At one point, I feel like I had like a Mike and Ike's thing going on or something. Or like what's the purple and white one? Is that
Good and Plenty's.
Yeah, there's like
Anise.
something like that going on.
It has enough of that traditional bourbon going on within that tinge of uniqueness. I enjoy that quite a bit.
There's surprisingly a lot of sweetness in this bourbon too.
That's a good one. We should jump up to the 100 proofer. Similar in that anise kind of finish thing going on there. Sweet, a little more burn from that proof.
This one's hotter.
That's solid.
I think this one is definitely more of a cinnamon exhale. In terms of mouthfeel, this one feels a bit thicker. As I sniffed it and drank it in rapid succession, I kind of got some corn notes on this one too.
Yeah, I can see
talking
that.
the sweet, caramely, brown, sugary thing that you were talking about initially.
Yeah.
Like, very pleasant.
Yeah, this is really sweet, but then finishes with that like spice. That's pretty cool. I enjoy that.
It's different. Do you detect like any nuttiness, any bitterness, fruitiness? Like I feel like the sweetness really does kind of hold this thing up and overpower it.
I get sweet and spicy. It's almost like a Chinese food kind of scenario. It doesn't taste like Chinese food, but you know what I mean? Like a sweet chili sauce. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't taste like that, but the same kind of sensation where you get hit with the sweetness and then it gets spicy when you
I understand what you're saying.
it. You know?
Like even now, like I'm getting a bit of a tingle from the small batch. You went back to the regular.
And that one, when I first took it in, almost had like a buttery thing going on.
After having the small batch and going back to the straight whiskey, I felt like I didn't get as much of those anise notes, those black licorice flavors, and like it brought out the green apple caramel vibes.
But who knows? We could go back to the small batch and all of a sudden it's going to taste totally different now too. It's funny. That one now too, I'm getting that like buttery thing.
This one still has more herbal notes, though. This one has a lot more of that cinnamon exhale.
Are you tasting that butter thing? Like it's faint.
It's like, for me, like you're highlighting that. You're saying it's on the tip of your tongue.
Well, it's like, it's just the first thing I taste when I put it in.
First thing you taste.
It's not necessarily on the tip of my tongue, but it's like right when I put it in, it's like I get this like wave of almost buttered popcorny kind of thing. Like melted butter.
I could see it.
You know what I mean?
I could see it.
That's the first thing I taste, and then it rolls through to the spicy herbal thing.
The small batch tasted a bit more bitter to me. Wooden, oaky bitterness. With some of the familiar flavors. Like, I'm still getting green apple. Not even really like brown sugar like you were saying anymore. Like what I'm getting is like sugar. Yeah, not even powdered sugar.
Like a cinnamon sugar butter mixture. You know what I mean?
Like a churro?
Sure. The dough isn't there, though. It's just like the topping.
Yeah.
Almost like the shit at the bottom of a Tom Thumb Donuts bag.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep,
that white, grainy sugar with some cinnamon and butter.
Okay. I don't know which order I want to drink them in now. Because now that we've been drinking them for a while, I go back to just the regular straight bourbon. And it's straight up like sour apple, awesome caramel apple thing. And I love that. Like, this is awesome. I would almost drink this over this.
They're both really good. About $35 for the straight bourbon, about $50 for the small batch. I'd say they're both worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a very interesting flavor. It's memorable to me. Like, this is one of those ones that I'll be like, it's a craveable flavor.
It gives you that Western, almost mesquite, spicy vibe, you know?
Yeah.
And it looks cool on your shelf. I think all around 35 and 50, I would buy both of them again.
Smoke Wagon straight bourbon and the small batch straight bourbon, both winners to us. Have you had Smoke Wagon? Any of these two variants or the uncut, unfiltered, any of those limited releases? Let us know. We'd like to hear what your thoughts are on it. Also, if you haven't yet, hit like on the video and subscribe to the channel because that helps us out more than you'll ever know. That's like currency on YouTube.
Digital currency.
Right.
Form of deathless dog coin.
Yeah, the more you hit that like button, the more YouTube decides to show us to other people who can see our nonsense every week.
From the Western Wisconsin Whiskey Emporium for ladies and gentlemen, we thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
I did my own clankum.
I like that. That works. Plays. It plays, man. Just let it go. You're just making chimes over here. Ooh, that one was
Some depth.